Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Cardinal Cupich, for your warm introduction and, frankly, for your invitation to join you at this important event. I learned early on coming to Chicago that you cannot say no to the Cardinal. My thanks as well to Dr. Jim Rigg for his leadership as Superintendent of Catholic Schools, and to Ellen Kraszewski for your participation in this morning's program. I would also like to thank Cook County Commission President Tony Preckwinkle, the Chairman of Loyola's Board of Trustees, Bob Parkinson, Betty Parkinson, my colleagues from Loyola, and especially our wonderful Catholic school students for joining us this morning. At this annual Celebrating Catholic Education breakfast, it's a privilege to have been asked to share my thoughts about the importance and impact of Catholic education, not just in our city, but its impact across the country. But I'm going to contrast that with the recent request I had to speak about, quote, whether a Catholic education is outdated in today's society. That's probably going to be my shortest set of remarks yet. Basically, it's called No. Such an education is arguably more relevant than ever before. Thank you so much. But you know, it's that relevance, and particularly celebrating it, which is why we're gathered here this morning. And I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to be with you. In November, I was honored to join Mayor Emanuel's delegation to witness Cardinal Cupich's elevation to become the 7th Cardinal in Chicago's history. At the ceremony in St. Peter's Basilica, the Holy Father reaffirmed his call for our diverse global community to end what he called an epidemic of animosity and violence. The Holy Father went on to say that this epidemic has a disproportionate impact on the most defenseless because their voice is weak and is silenced by a pathology of indifference. Pope Francis's exhortation to all of us is a very timely and contemporary reminder and an urgent call to action, underpinning the foundation of Catholic education. During my inauguration at Loyola this fall, I recalled a similarly poignant words from Father Pedro Arrupe, a well-known former Superior General of the Society of Jesus, who in 1973, in an address to Jesuit school alumni, said this: "All of us would like to be good to others, and most of us would be good in a good world. What is difficult is to be good in an evil world, where the egotism of others and the egotism built into the institutions of society attack us. Evil is only overcome by good, egotism by generosity. It is thus that we must sow justice in our world, substituting love for self-interest as the driving force of society. Ignorance, apathy, and indifference are often the enablers behind many of the acts of injustice that we witness today. But it is through our Catholic faith tradition and our commitment to academic excellence in our Catholic schools that we prepare students for lives of engagement and service to one another. This is the education we are celebrating because it empowers the defenseless. It seizes ignorance, apathy, and indifference, and it becomes part of the soul, the very being of our students, driving them to be agents of positive change. Our shared mission as Catholic educators to educate young women and men is to transform the world by seeing, understanding, and acting. It is an engaged pedagogy rooted in a commitment not just to educate, but to inspire hearts and minds, all to make the world a better place through acts of service. At Loyola University, like so many of you and your institutions represented here today, we see ourselves as educators, as a societal change agent, committed to engaging the world around us in all of its glory, and yes, in all of its grit. We want to inspire our students and each other to reach deep within, risk discomfort, confront ambiguities, and take on the difficult and divisive issues that impact our world. Universities, especially research universities like Loyola, are often seen as the catalysts for breaking the cycle of poverty through education, the leaders of our political and government systems by modeling respectful dialogue and civil discourse, and the innovators developing breakthroughs in translational medical research to address healthcare disparities, environmental sustainability, and so much more. It is through Catholic education that we train doctors and nurses who are committed to the dignity of every person every day. Lawyers who seek justice on behalf of their clients. Corporate executives rooted in ethical, values-based leadership. Social workers with empathy and passion. And teachers who work to ensure that each student reaches his or her greatest human potential. Catholic education has provided the foundation for many of our local and state government representatives from our communities. A full 10% of the United States Congress is comprised of Jesuit-educated men and women. That's 56 members of this 115th Congress. Knowing that should give all of us just a little bit more hope. Sustain our faith in democracy, and even maybe raise our expectations for some positive, sustainable change. In so many ways, you as Catholic elementary and high school educators and administrators in over 200 schools throughout our Archdiocese of Chicago are the ones really planting these seeds of transformative education in our young people. But it is up to all of us to further nurture and support that growth in many, many ways. There's much work to be done to ensure that Catholic education remains accessible and affordable to a diverse community of talented young women and men, including students who speak a language other than English at home. As Cardinal Cupich underscored in his Chicago Tribune op-ed earlier this month, Pope Francis reminded us of our shared identity with immigrants when he spoke to the US Congress and said, "We, the people of this continent, are not fearful of foreigners, because most of us were once foreigners. Let us help each other to grow, as we would like to be helped ourselves. If we want security, let us give security. If we want life, let us give life. If we want opportunities, then let us provide opportunities." At Loyola, nearly 15% of our freshman class this year are the first in their families to attend college. And we have nearly 30 DACA students enrolled in our medical school, 80 more in our Rupe College program, and we're expecting a number in our law school. 25% of our freshman class came to us from Catholic high schools in Chicago and around the country. And over 40% of our freshman class have been raised Catholic. We celebrate all of this. At the same time, we celebrate the tremendous ethnic, religious, and cultural diversity of our students and all who study, teach, and work at Loyola. It is truly a gift each and every day. But we also enjoy, as part of this, some wonderful dynamic partnerships among the institutions represented here today and throughout the Archdiocese that truly serve as building blocks for the future. Through Loyola's Andrew M. Greeley Center for Catholic Education, we partner with schools throughout the Archdiocese in many ways. Let me share some of that with you. The Catholic Principal Preparation Program develops future principals to meet the complex challenges of leading today's Catholic schools by developing principals to be mission-driven, faith-based leaders. We also partner through the Greeley Center with Aspire and the Big Shoulders Fund on the All Are Welcome, an innovative collaboration, with the goal of building the capacity of Catholic schools in Chicagoland to include children with disabilities along with their typically developing peers in the classroom. The Greeley Center also leverages the resources of Loyola School of Education to design and deliver tailor-made professional development programs to archdiocesan schools. And the center hosts one of the largest Catholic educators conferences, the Mustard Seed Project, on inclusive practices within Catholic schools. We also have a robust LUC Choice 2-year service teaching program for college graduates to serve as teachers in elementary classrooms throughout the Archdiocese. These partnerships are so critical to our efforts to prepare men and women who exemplify and live lives of faith and service. At this time in our history and in this place in our country, where we are often confronted almost on a daily basis by an epidemic of animosity and violence, it is up to us, and it starts with us as Catholic school educators, to recommit ourselves every day to this important work of educating the next generation who will be transformed by their educations to make the difference that we need in our world. Catholic education is a promise. It is a pledge. It is a vow to our young people. At Loyola, we talk about preparing people to lead extraordinary lives. Extraordinary in faith, extraordinary in love, and extraordinary in service. Yes, Catholic education is more relevant, more vital today than ever before. It is that extraordinary gift worth celebrating. Thank you all for what you do each and every day for Catholic education in our community.